Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a special episode. 2 games, 2 wheeled warriors that are due to fight for the ultimate title of Best Side-Scrolling Extreme Sports Action. The first, released by Codemasters in 1987. The second, released by Mastertronic in 1988. Both games weigh in at £1.99, but attempt to bring the excitement of helmet-buckling, death-defying bike action to your living room. Who will win? Which game is best? Only one man knows the answer, so please, put your hands together for Rose Tinted Spectrum!
Yeah, it's this one. This one is the best. It's not even a competition. If you disagree with this statement, that's fine. You're allowed to do that. Just know that you are incorrect, because I've had to come to that realization myself recently. Growing up, I didn't own ATV Simulator. I owned Kikstart 2. A friend of mine owned ATV Simulator, and it would be an exchange of cultures whenever we went to each other's houses. Here, sir, take a sip of my monochromatic motorbike simulator, replete with its own level editor that no one has quite figured out how to use yet. Why, thank you, sir. Here, let me show you my fine collection of levels full of more than a single colour, in which you must ride your vehicle over a very small sphinx. What a wonderful exchange that was, but regardless of our courtesy, we each sat on our own side of the fence. I preferred Kikstart 2, he preferred ATV Simulator. I was wrong. I was very wrong. Coming back to Kikstart after so many years, I was excited. I hadn't played this game since I was about 8 or 9 years old, and the impression it left on me from that age was pretty big. I remember when the Trials games started to release, followed by Trials HD, which perfected the series, and I couldn't help thinking, wow, this is basically Kikstart 2, but brought up to date. Thank you, Kikstart 2. Thank you for all you've done. I love you. I love you so much. I want to be inside. Trials isn't like Kikstart 2, though. Trials plays by a very specific set of rules. The same rules, in fact, the ATV Simulator attempts to adhere to. Speed, angle, balance. Yes, they're worlds apart in terms of presentation and complexity of those mechanics, but they aim to be as simple as possible. You see a bump in the road, you lift the front wheel in order to stop yourself from breaking all your internal organs. Kikstart 2 isn't like that, though. I mean, it sort of is, but it also definitely isn't. Kikstart 2 has a set of criteria that you need to memorize in order to traverse the terrain correctly. There are no visual hints for this, you just have to memorize the instructions and hope that the game plays fair, which it doesn't. Here's how my first attempt went. One of the nice things here is that you can choose which set of courses you'd like to play by using the A to Z keys, so you can set up your own set of courses to compete in. This also means that you can choose the same course multiple times in order to practice. I did just that with course A. It did not matter how many times I attempted it, how many times I clarified the rules, how much I swore at the screen, there was absolutely no way of getting through without yeeting myself through the air multiple times. Sometimes I'd understand why. Most of the time, I would not understand why. Even the AI struggles to get past the same sections, usually every single time it tried to attempt them. This leads me to believe that the game is potentially impossible. I've watched multiple videos of people playing Kikstart 2 on the internet, and I can't find a single person that can get through even the first course without falling off once. So I rifled through my file of facts to find the best games person I know, a man who can complete the arcade version of R-Type in 1 credit, a man who can get through the entirety of Golden Axe without even getting hit once. 1 credit classics, the man, the myth, the legend. Is Kikstart 2 actually impossible?
So this game's bollocks, and you know it. I think that's why you asked me to have a look at it. And I don't know how fast I can go. I must have to go no speed at all to clear that then. Brilliant. So there's one of the big things, there's no indicators of anything, you know what I mean? Absolutely none. It's just so friggin' inconsistent. Full speed to get back on here. There you go. I overcooked that. Yeah, brilliant. But then I assume I need to boot it up over here, right? Kick it over here. I think I could do this, you know. I don't think this is impossible. Like that jump. That jump's so hard. Didn't jump. Brilliant. Sometimes it doesn't jump. No, I'm not even just... That sounds like a this is bullshit excuse. But honestly, right, sometimes you press jump and it doesn't jump. Let's see if we can hit the gate at this speed and still survive. Yes.
Objection!
No, not at all. What I should really do is... So, to answer your question, my friend, it is not impossible. Am I good enough to do it? Not yet. Is this fun? Sort of. I don't know. No.
Okay, well, it's not impossible, but it definitely is. The biggest issue is that Kikstart is not what it presents itself as. It looks like a straight shooting motorbike game, but what you're actually playing is a reaction-based puzzle game. You have to know when to jump, what speed to be aiming for when going over specific terrain, but sprinkle onto all of that a light shower of inconsistency. The game wants you to be 100% accurate, but the game itself isn't 100% accurate. It's like trying to play Tetris, but the block it's currently showing changes at the last second. The problem is also in the pacing. When you're not going 2 miles an hour over a wooden fence, you spend so much of your time doing absolutely nothing. Whenever you come off your bike, which you will, because the game is impossible, then everything will slowly scan forward until it finds a flat surface you can plop down on. Let's have a look at how much time you spent playing the game versus not playing the game on a typical run-through. There's no music, no sound, some really questionable palette choices, and for all the love I had for this game, none of it exists anymore. This is just painful. Switch over to ATV Simulator though. Nice big chunky graphics, controls that actually seem to work for the most part, music, the whole shebang. There's no level editor and you can't pick and choose your courses, but that's fine because the game is actually playable. Hitting jumps at an angle makes sense, landing on things makes sense, there's no weird system where you have to slow down because of dangerous wooden surfaces, you don't randomly fall through the scenery, it works, that's the thing, whereas Kikstart 2 just feels like an absolute slog, basically asks you to ride a bicycle on razor wire. There's also more variety here in terms of the scenery, along with a lick of humour, but look, I'm not going to suggest that ATV Simulator is absolutely perfect. There's plenty of sections where I struggle to actually surpass the obstacles put in front of me, but for the most part, that feels more down to my skill level rather than the game itself being sloppy. On top of that, when you crash your bike, look at that! You get to walk back to it, and then you can jump on it like an absolute badass. Seriously, there's not an awful lot I can say about the game that can't be said about Kikstart 2, but the biggest difference here is that I'm actually enjoying myself instead of wanting to smash my own teeth in. That enjoyment is all down to how the game feels to play, and while Kikstart feels unfathomably unfair, ATV Simulator feels like it just gets things right. It's fun to play, it's not a slog even when you're struggling, and more than anything else, it's fair. It's fair. I think it's fair. Okay, maybe Kikstart 2 was better.
Right, we'll do. Should we try the clap thing that everybody talks about?
Well, we can do, but then that would require us both to clap at exactly the same time.
Well, that's the point. So you go 3, 2, 1, clap. 3, 2, 1. No, you prick.
I mean, do what you want with this video. Do what you want with this video. When I need to wheelie and I don't need to wheelie. Brilliant. When I need to wheelie and I don't need to wheelie. Brilliant. When I need to wheelie and I don't need to wheelie. Brilliant. When I need to wheelie and I don't understand. Oh, you'd think they'd give us that. Think they'd give us that. So jump off that. Jump off that. Straight through the beam.